When a coworker takes credit for your work, it can be crushing. You might be sitting in a meeting and hear a coworker whom you thought was a friend take credit for work that you've done. Or it might be via email that you notice somebody has taken credit for your work. Or you might hear through the grapevine that somebody else has taken credit for the work that you have done. Whatever the case, whatever the situation, in this video, I'm going to go through how you can deal with it when a coworker takes credit for your work. And I'm going to share examples for each of the 3 scenarios that I've just mentioned in this video. Now, before we get started, if you like what you are going to learn in this video and you want to support my channel and help it grow, then subscribe by hitting the button below this video. Every week I release videos on leadership to help you evolve as an emerging leader, and I would be honored to have you a part of this journey. The first thing we need to understand is, why do these people take credit for your work? Now, I know that it's frustrating for you, but quite often there's an underlying reason why these people are taking credit for your work and refusing to give credit to you. So let's go through some of the possible reasons now. They could feel insecure about themselves. They might be insecure about their job, about their position in the company, or they might think that you are much more talented and much more intelligent and advanced than they are. This doesn't make it right at all, but it could be a reason as to why these people are taking credit for the work that you've done. And if I were in this situation and someone was taking credit for the work I've done because they are insecure about themselves, in a way, I'd feel sorry for them. And it would help me have a calmer and a more productive conversation with them. Or they may not realize that they're not giving you the credit for your work. So this can happen, especially if somebody is nervous in a meeting, for example, and they have to talk about the project that you're working on. They may simply forget to mention that you contributed a lot of the work as well. This can happen. So sometimes you have to recognize that it might be an innocent mistake. Or they could be a bad faith player, meaning they intentionally and knowingly take credit for work that you've done. Now, these are the most difficult people to deal with, because you have to be a lot more assertive with them when you're having the conversation about taking credit for your work. And it's often a sign of what working with this person will be like. It's a sign of how they treat and what they think of their team members. There could be many reasons for why people take credit for work that you have done, but regardless of the reason, you need to do something about it. You can't let it go on, because when you do, you're letting these people take from you a visibility opportunity. And if you're a regular on this channel, you know I've spoken a lot about visibility building, getting people to know who you are, the value and contribution that you make. So you really need to be visible, and you can't let anyone take from you a visibility opportunity. You really need to do something about it when somebody is taking credit for work that you've done, because if you don't, you will be overlooked. The other person will get credit for work that you have done. They will get noticed, and they could get promoted instead of you. In the professional world, you need other people to know the contribution that you have made. This is really how promotion decisions are made, when bosses know what people have contributed and what value they bring to a team or to a company. So you can't let this go unknown. You need people to know the exact value and contribution you are adding, so you'll be considered for those promotions. You need to claim the credit you deserve so you can get the recognition that you deserve. Now, how do you do this? Let's go through a simple strategy that you can use during meetings. So do you remember the example I shared with you before at the beginning of this video, where somebody is taking credit for the work that you did during a meeting? So what you need to do in this situation is to jump into the conversation. Once you've heard the other person take credit for your work and you realize they are not giving credit to you, you need to jump into the conversation and say something like this. I'd like to jump in and clarify what Jennifer was just saying. We worked on this project together. Jennifer did a fantastic job at sourcing the information we needed, and then I carefully compiled it into the report you're seeing right now. So this structure begins with, I'd like to clarify what such and such was saying, and then you delve into the separate tasks that you did. This strategy isn't nasty, and it won't portray you in a negative way. In fact, it will show other people in the room that you are confident and that you stand up for yourself, that you know how to be assertive when you need to. This will earn you respect and it will add to your reputation as a leader in the making. The second strategy is something you can use in emails. So let's say you're in an email thread, and in that email thread, somebody takes credit for work that you have done. Now, I don't know about you, but in an email, it is much easier for me to be assertive and to be direct than it is in person. I find it much easier to address stressful or tense situations by email than I do in person. So the strategy we're going to use here is very similar to the previous one where you are in a meeting, but there are a couple of slight differences. So you have the email come through where someone's taking credit for your work. What you do is you reply all. You reply to all the people who are included in that email thread. And you write something like this. I'd like to clarify what Jennifer wrote in her previous message. We worked on this project together. Jennifer sourced the information we needed, then I carefully compiled it into the report. And you can also finish with something a bit more positive like this. I thoroughly enjoyed working with Jennifer on this project and I hope to have another opportunity like this in the future. This type of response when somebody's taking credit for your work, it will make you look confident like I mentioned before, but it will also make you look like a team player. And it will also give the opportunity to Jennifer or to the other person who has taken credit for your work. It will give them the opportunity to jump in and to apologize for not giving you the credit that you deserve. This is helpful in a situation where it's really an innocent mistake. The third strategy I want to share with you is really helpful if you hear through the grapevine, through word of mouth, through somebody else that someone has taken credit for your work. So the strategy here, how you deal with it is you need to have a one-on-one conversation with that person. Now, I know this can be a bit daunting, especially if you're not used to having assertive conversations, but honestly, it's really the only effective way that you can deal with it. So when you're in that conversation, say to them, I noticed you took credit for project X. We actually worked on this project together, so I'd like to know, was that intentional? The last part, asking them, was it intentional? This will help you uncover the reason. Why did they take credit for your work? Was it intentional? Was it unintentional? Did they realize they were doing it? Are they a bad faith player? This question will help you uncover the exact reason as to why they took credit for your work. And it might help you deal with it a little bit better. It won't change what the next step is in this process, but it will help you understand why they did it and it will help you better prepare for the next time around. And once they've responded with their reason, then you can continue on with the conversation and say something like this. I understand that you didn't realize you were taking sole credit, but I put a lot of work into this project as well, and it makes me feel irrelevant when you erase my contribution from this project. So let me break this phrase down for you. I understand you didn't realize you were taking sole credit. This acknowledges what they just said to you, the reason they just gave to you as to why they didn't give you credit for the work that you did. So you acknowledge that first. Then the next sentence, I put a lot of work into this project as well. This reminds them that you were a part of this project and that you contributed a lot to this project just like they did. And the third sentence, it makes me feel irrelevant when you erase my contribution like this. This is using an I statement, what we call an I statement in assertive communication. And I statements are a really helpful way of conveying how somebody's actions or someone's behavior or even words have impacted you, positively or negatively. It's a really powerful way to communicate how you feel. Now, I statements are something that I talk about in my Assertive Communication Skills Masterclass. So this is a 3-hour online course that is currently available on Udemy. I have just over 13,000 students in that course who have all said it's very helpful for them to learn how to communicate more assertively and more confidently in a professional or even their personal life. So if you want to find out more about that course, I will put a discount coupon in the description below for you. I know it can be intimidating to confront somebody who has taken credit for your work, and in the past you might have just let it fly, you might have just ignored it, but I really hope that the strategies I shared with you in this video will help you know how to deal with it and help give you the confidence to actually deal with it in the future. If you liked what you learned in this video, then please subscribe to my channel by hitting the button below this video and the notification bell as well. It will really help support my channel and help it grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back next week with another video.